Hello everyone, today we are going to watch the movie, Good Luck to You Leo Grande. The movie starts by showing the protagonist Nancy in a hotel room which she has reserved it. Nancy is a widow and a retired educator. She has hired a sex worker named Leo Grande. Leo is having a coffee in the cafeteria. He leaves the cafeteria to see his client who has booked him. He arrives at the hotel room. Nancy opens the door and welcomes Leo inside. Straight away Leo gets into the business by asking Nancy that may I kiss you on the cheek. Nancy stunned for a second and allowed him to kiss her. He pays her a couple of compliments and tries to win her over. She feels uncomfortable about her age and constantly reminds him of it. Leo is not at all embarrassed by this, because he has had older women. Leo offers her a drink to ease her into the mood. Nancy took a bottle of fizz from the bar cabinet and pours into the glass and both drinks it. They both sat down for a talk. At first they talked about the general things. Later their conversation gets deeper. Nancy gets distracted by Leo's handsome good-looking. She reveals that she never had an orgasm and even when left alone to herself. Nancy's husband passed away 2 years ago, was the only man she shares her bed. And Leo is the second person tonight. She questioned his lack of moral hesitation about his work in this field and desire to have a sexual relationship with his clients. Leo patiently bears Nancy's uncertainties, then Leo kissed her to ease her. Leo talks about his customers and how much he enjoys his job. Nancy feels that she has set up pupils' essay on moral issues surrounding sex work, but now she ends up participating in it. Nancy is worried that she is not capable of arousing Leo and suggests him to take a pill if he wants, but he is confident enough to deny it. Leo senses her embarrassment and he leads her to the bed. The moment when Leo starts to touch Nancy, she gets discomfort and tells Leo that she needs to change clothes and runs into the bathroom. She took a very long time. Leo too changes his clothes and makes him in a comfortable position. Nancy doesn't comes out for a long time, so he decides to have a snack. He took a candy bar from the mini bar fridge and tasted it. Nancy comes out from the bathroom with her new outfit. Leo greets her for the outfit and tries to kiss her, but she is sickened by the smell of the candy bar and asks him to clean it up. Leo later finds that the problem is not by the candy, but by Nancy herself. She is in dilemma about the idea of sleeping with another man, so she offers to pay Leo and ask him to dress and leave. Leo comforts her that her decision to sleep is not a momentary weakness. A purposeful and carefully considered decision. Leo asks Nancy why she has hired her rather than there are dozens of men around her to cope up with. Nancy clarifies that they are all old and she needs a young man and a young body. She talks about her husband with whom she had sex with the same position for nearly 30 years without even trying anything new. She just wanted to try oral sex, but her husband finds it demeaning. Nancy recollects an incident when she and her parents went on a vacation to the Greece. There she met a young waiter at the hotel in his 20s. He looked at her and that was the most delicious thing she ever seen and she felt her body go to water. One night he was hanging around after his shift, and she feels very hot, so she went out into the garden after her parents had gone to bed. He saw Nancy in the garden and came to her. Without a word he kissed her in the neck, and put his hand under her skirt and into her knickers. She pushed herself back into him and feels the most craziest exciting feeling she ever had. Sudden someone started the car and light flashes. He was scared and went away. On the next day she and her parents returned home. Leo notices that Nancy was aroused by the memories and he kissed her, and they both spent the night happily. Next day she again booked Leo for the second meeting. Leo enters the room and greets her with a kiss on her cheek. Now Nancy feels more free and relaxed. She offers Leo a drinks. Nancy has a couple of attainment goals for this time, so she made a list of things that she would like to get through. She want to try 4 poses in today's session. Since Leo is too expensive and she doesn't know whether she can book Leo for the next time, she needs to finish things in today itself. Nancy gives the list to Leo and asks him to check whether they can achieve the thing in the list by today. Leo replies that they will do as much as they can today. Then they starts get into the business. Nancy wants to start with the fellatio, which is at the top of her list. She starts to unbuckle his belt. Nancy is anxious that she will not satisfy Leo and she gets nervous. So Leo turns on the music and dance with her to make her de-stress. After dancing for a while, Leo gives her a massage on her neck. Nancy pushed herself against Leo, and feels the young muscle. Then Nancy asks Leo to take off his shirt. Nancy starts to touch Leo's body. She admires Leo's flawless body. She feels aroused and uncomfortable again. Nancy moves away from Leo and has a drink. Leo doesn't understand why she moves away. Nancy explains that she doesn't touch the young man's body before. Leo gets Nancy in front of the mirror and removed her clothes. He says her body looks good and he like it. He asks her to love herself for who she is, to make Nancy relax a bit. He suggests a role-playing of a teacher and a student. But Nancy feels awful and turned down the idea. Nancy wants to know if he ever been in trouble for selling quotas for money. Leo explains that he is not doing anything illegal. He sells his company to women to get to know each other, that's why he recommends more sessions to women. Nancy thinks that Leo is trying to trick her to buy more sessions. Nancy says she is not so rich to buy more sessions and eventually gets into the business. Nancy gets on her knees and tries to start, but she can't start. She thinks that he won't like it or satisfy him. Leo starts to tell the story of his clients and says that he won't judge his clients and one thing he loves is just to watch someone's face when they feel pleasure. Hearing this from Leo, Nancy gets enlightened and she gives herself one more chance to do fellatio, and this time she does it. Next show, Nancy and Leo meets up for the third session. Nancy feels liberated and lets Leo to do cunnilingus to her. She still had no orgasm including her previous 2 sessions. Nancy has accomplished her second thing in her list. Nancy wants to know more about Leo so that they can meet somewhere outside for coffee. All goes well for a while before Nancy confesses that she has made some research about him, and finds his real identity. Hearing this from Nancy, Leo gets annoyed and decided to leave the hotel room. Nancy thinks that by confessing about his identity they will get closer, but Leo doesn't like to cross boundaries in personnel space. Nancy even ready to confess her real name, but Leo is not interested in it and starts to dress. Nancy apologizes for her act. Leo asks Nancy to never book him again and threatens her not to reveal his identity or to contact his family. Then he took his bag and leaves the room. Nancy feels guilty. Leo returns to the room within few minutes to get his phone, which he forgot to take. He can't find his phone. He gets ragged for not being able to locate his phone. He then starts to tell his story. When he was 15, his mother disowned him and left him to fend for himself. She tells everyone that he is dead. Leo asks Nancy to stop judging him. Then Leo finds his phone under the sofa. He promised to refund the money for this session. He kisses her for one last time and leaves the room saying goodbye to her. Then days later, Nancy again booked Leo for another session. Now the place has changed from hotel room to cafeteria. While Nancy waits for Leo's arrival, she met her old student, who works as a waitress in the coffee shop. Her name is Becky. While Nancy speaking to Becky, Leo turns out. Nancy tries to cover up, so that Becky would not suspect anything. Aware of the situation, Leo tells Becky that he is here to sell his car, which Nancy is interested. Then Leo orders 2 coffee for them. They both sat down and have a chat. Nancy couldn't believe that Leo would show up and neither Leo too. But Nancy has booked him so he came, knowing the deal today. Nancy thanks him for meeting her and apologizes for her behavior in the hotel room. Nancy tells that she recommends Leo Grande to her friends as the master of menopause, so that he may get new clients. Nancy reveals her real name Susan Robinson to Leo Grande. Now Leo too trusted her and starts to share a few things about his life. Nancy expresses her gratitude to him for giving her a sense of self-assurance. Leo reveals that his mother disowned him because she finds him and his friends exploring bodies each other in his teenage days. When she returned to the home, he even saw his mother a couple of years ago on the street. She just walked past him straight and he feels cold. The Becky arrives at the table and decided to tell a little about Nancy, who was her religious teacher. One day Nancy got all girls together for a special assembly and told the girls that they are all sluts. She said girls should look respectable. If you look like sluts, you will be treated like sluts. Nancy explains that it was a part of measured to do with the length of the skirt. Nancy feels embarrassed and asks Becky for the bill. Then Becky leaves. Nancy stops Becky and apologizes to her for calling her a slut in her teenage and tells her that Leo is not here to sell his car. Leo admits that he is a call boy and has been in touch with her for a month. Nancy tells Becky that she has discovered that pleasure is the wonderful thing in the world, that's something we should all have. Then Nancy and Leo leaves the cafe for their final session in the hotel room. They both enter the hotel room. Leo hugs her from the back passionately. They both enjoyed their time in the bed. Nancy still hasn't arrived at the orgasm. Leo searches for the toy in his bag to help her. Leo then turns to see Nancy fondling herself for the first time in her life and feels pleasure. Both realizes that this would be their last meeting. Nancy says good luck to you, Leo Grande. Leo says take care, Nancy, and leaves the hotel room. After Leo left, Nancy see herself in the mirror. Now she doesn't feel complex about her body. Instead, she feels confident about her body, and the movie ends. If you like the video, like, comment and subscribe to our channel for more videos.